The Killer 2024. The Killer opens with a meticulous professional assassin living by strict rules of patience, precision, and emotional detachment. He narrates his philosophy while preparing for a high-profile hit, observing routines and calculating variables. The mission appears simple, but a single mistake shatters his perfect record. The failed assassination triggers chaos, exposing him to powerful enemies who never forgive errors. Forced into motion, the killer abandons anonymity and begins a global escape. The film establishes cold realism, dark humor, and psychological tension. Every action feels calculated, yet consequences spiral beyond control. The story explores how obsession with perfection collapses under pressure, and how one flaw can dismantle an entire life built on discipline. After the failed hit, the killer realizes his employers believe he betrayed them. Rather than hiding, he chooses retaliation, following his personal code. He traces the attack back through a chain of intermediaries, moving across cities with ruthless efficiency. Each encounter is swift, controlled, and violent. The film emphasizes preparation over action, showing careful planning before every confrontation. His internal monologue contrasts sharply with the brutality on screen. He believes emotions are weaknesses, yet anger quietly drives him forward. Surveillance, disguises, and calculated movements dominate the narrative. The world feels cold and mechanical, reflecting the killer's mindset. As bodies fall, the line between self-defense and revenge blurs dangerously. The killer returns to his safe haven, only to discover his personal life has been shattered. An attack on someone he cares about breaks his emotional armor. This violation transforms his mission from professional cleanup to personal vengeance. His carefully maintained distance from human connection collapses. The film explores how attachment destabilizes even the most disciplined minds. Despite his belief in control, rage begins influencing decisions. Mistakes grow more frequent, and risks increase. The assassin becomes vulnerable, hunted, and exposed. Every enemy encounter feels closer and more intimate. The narrative tightens, shifting focus from technique to consequence. The killer learns that isolation never guaranteed safety, only delayed the inevitable collision between his work and humanity. As the hunt continues, the killer confronts fellow professionals sent to eliminate him. These encounters showcase contrasting philosophies of assassination. Some killers rely on chaos, others on brute force, but he remains methodical. The film stages confrontations in confined, realistic environments, emphasizing tension over spectacle. Violence is sudden, uncomfortable, and final. The killer adapts constantly, proving survival depends on flexibility, not rules. His narration grows increasingly contradictory, exposing hypocrisy in his beliefs. The idea of being above emotion unravels. Each kill brings him closer to the architects behind the betrayal. The story highlights the illusion of control in violent professions. No matter how careful one is, unpredictability always wins eventually. Midway through the film, the killer reaches a powerful broker who reveals the truth behind the failed mission. The mistake was never forgiven because forgiveness weakens systems built on fear. This revelation deepens the film's themes of expendability and corporate cruelty. Assassins are tools, discarded once flawed. The killer reflects on his role within this machine, questioning loyalty and purpose. His methods remain precise, but his motives shift. He no longer seeks balance, only closure. The pacing slows briefly, allowing introspection. Silence becomes as heavy as gunfire. The film suggests that professional detachment is a myth, and even the most controlled individuals are shaped by betrayal and survival instincts. The killer's pursuit leads him to the highest authority behind the operation. Instead of immediate violence, the film builds psychological tension through dialogue and power dynamics. The antagonist represents systems that commodify death without consequence. The killer listens, evaluates, and suppresses emotion. This scene challenges his philosophy, presenting a mirror of cold logic taken further. The confrontation forces him to confront responsibility for his choices. Violence erupts not from rage, but inevitability. The aftermath is quiet and unsettling. There is no satisfaction, only emptiness. The film refuses catharsis, emphasizing that revenge does not restore control. The killer's victory feels hollow, reinforcing the narrative's bleak realism and moral ambiguity. With his enemies eliminated, the killer attempts to disappear once again. However, the psychological damage remains. His routines feel meaningless, and his rules sound hollow. The film slows dramatically, focusing on everyday actions once treated as survival techniques. Ordinary life feels foreign and uncomfortable. The assassin questions whether escape is possible after embracing violence as identity. The narration softens, revealing doubt and fatigue. The world continues without him, indifferent to his survival. The film emphasizes consequence beyond physical danger. Living becomes harder than killing. The killer understands that anonymity no longer offers peace. The price of survival is permanent awareness. Even silence becomes loud when one can no longer hide from themselves. In the final act, the killer chooses an unexpected path, breaking his own rules deliberately. He spares a target who represents his former self, recognizing the cycle of violence. This decision marks subtle growth rather than redemption. The film avoids dramatic transformation, favoring realism. Change is small, uncertain, and incomplete. The killer does not become good, only aware. His narration admits contradictions without resolving them. The ending remains restrained, refusing closure. The camera lingers on stillness instead of action. This choice reinforces the film's themes. Control is an illusion, perfection is impossible, and survival demands compromise. The killer walks away not victorious, but conscious, carrying consequences forward rather than escaping them. The killer stands out for its minimalist style and psychological focus. Action is secondary to tension, preparation, and consequence. Performances rely on subtlety rather than emotion, enhancing realism. Sound design and silence shape atmosphere more than music. The film critiques modern systems that reduce individuals to expendable assets. Violence is portrayed as efficient but empty, never glamorous. The narrative challenges traditional assassin myths by exposing fragility beneath discipline. The killer's internal monologue serves as both guide and unreliable narration. Viewers are invited to question his beliefs rather than admire them. The film functions as a character study disguised as a thriller. Its restraint and precision mirror the protagonist while quietly dismantling his philosophy. In conclusion, The Killer is a cold, deliberate exploration of control, identity, and consequence. It rejects action excess in favor of psychological realism. The protagonist's journey reveals the cost of believing oneself detached from humanity. Every rule he follows eventually fails him. Survival does not equal peace. And efficiency does not erase responsibility. The film leaves audiences unsettled rather than satisfied. Its strength lies in restraint, ambiguity, and honesty. The Killer is not about redemption or justice, but awareness gained too late. By the end, the assassin survives, yet something essential is lost. The film lingers as a reminder that living by rigid codes cannot protect anyone from chaos, emotion, or consequence in an unpredictable world.